and welcome back to the second episode of season 2 of the British Esports show. So this is going to be a very special episode today. As you can see, I've got a new lovely co-host. This side. A new lovely co-host because we are doing a Women in Esports takeover ahead of a lot of exciting things that we've got planned. So, Billie, if you could just introduce yourself for the people who may not know who you are.
Hello everyone, my name is Billie and I am the Women in Esports Manager here at British Esports, and I'm really excited to be on the BEE show and kind of take over with the Women in Esports.
Yes, I'm really excited, and don't worry, Saul will be back. We've not ditched him off. He'll be back, and we've got loads of exciting plans to go throughout the year, whether that be for normal B show episodes or Women in Esports takeovers. So for this episode, we have a very special guest, and if you'd like to introduce yourself, we have GeekyCassie on our podcast today. If you could just introduce yourself and tell everyone a little bit about you.
Yeah, I've come to take over Sol's position. This is a hostile takeover. We didn't want to give you a heads up, but here we are. So thanks. This is a new team. It's not true. I'm just I don't know, a creator, and I don't know, community management, and a generally like messy person that does like stuff in the space just because I have like little passion pockets of stuff I want to do. And then I end up accidentally like doing it for about a year and then being like, okay, I want this to grow, and then adding more things onto things that I do. So yeah, I don't know if that's a good explanation of me a little bit. I'm also the co-founder of Black Twitch UK, and a community manager of the Noir Network, which is more like, it's more international, it's not UK based. And I have a small events company called Nox Luminar, and we do kind of bespoke events for gaming and in general like the industry that focuses on like listening to creators and people that have like a want and a need of something that doesn't necessarily get seen, and trying to make it more accessible.
So thank you for coming on today.
Yeah.
And we're going to kick off the podcast with the rundown. In the rundown, we are basically just going to ask you some questions about you, to let everyone learn a bit more about you, what you're doing in the industry, and just get some of your thoughts and opinions on things. So, Billie, if you'd like to kick off the rundown for us.
Yes, so the very first question that we had for you was, how did you get involved in esports and gaming?
Do you know what's so funny is that I came in from like a completely different position. I was reviewing events and games. I think the first major event I went to was, I think it's the Esports League or Esports London, and they did an event. I shot my shot and was like, oh, I'd love to like do a review for our website. I had a website at the time with some friends called What Happens in Gaming. I would review indie games, I would review every like loads of things, and then I decided to start streaming, and then I guess there's loads of shifts that happened around that time, and then I ended up like continuing streaming, and I just ended up doing this.
So, in terms of the different projects and initiatives and organisations you work with and have created, where did the idea for Twitch UK come from and stem from?
Okay, so I think in the UK we have a different. I can't speak for EU. I think mainly in the UK we have a different approach to like how we celebrate things like Black History Month than we do the US. We've got a completely different history. And two, I wanted Black History Month to be more for celebration of the variety of creators that we have. And when I spoke to Twitch, or when Danny and I, who was also a co-founder of BTUK, spoke to Twitch, they didn't have anything in place. Everyone was like on lockdown. There was loads of people in the community that was doing amazing things content-wise, but you couldn't see anyone on Twitch that was like us. I think Danny was pretty much the first Black Twitch partner out of 20,000 partners, for there to not be anyone to be the first black partner in the UK was wild. One, two, other creators couldn't find anyone as well, and I think it gets tiring having to explain all the time. Oh, like, this is what happens. This is what it's like being a woman in gaming. This is what it's like being black in gaming. Sometimes you just want to play games with your friends and feel like you're in a space with people that get it, without you having to like explain, all right, this is why you need to have this moderation and be going back and forth. Who has the energy for that? I just want to do like with my friends. So anyway, we reached out to Twitch and they didn't really have anything in place, and we had like our own version of Notting Hill Carnival, and it was amazing. It got like backed by Gymshark and like Ray and Nephews, because obviously healthy living is having rum, and it was just a really good thing like that we pulled the community together with. And then we tried to gather loads of creators, and we made a list, and from that list of where people could find creators. So a lot of people working within the space were saying that they would love to give more creators opportunities, but they don't know where to find them. So we were like, okay, there's no excuse, because now you have this. And then after that, we set up the stream team, which was the first like stream team focused on black creators in the UK, and we got partnered, and then we just keep going. And then there was no Black History Month, so we made our own Black History Month, and then Twitch was like, okay, cool, we can start doing Black History Month. So I mean, it's good in a way, but also it feels like a bit exhausting to have to fight for everything first before something gets done.
Yeah, 100%. And it's amazing to see like how you've grown it to what it is today, being one of the co-founders. Could you just kind of tell us a wee bit about the kind of work that you're doing with Nox Lumina as well?
Yeah, so tomorrow is my 1 year anniversary of Nux Lumina. I wanted to do something. So I have, outside of gaming, I own a care agency with my brother, and we provide support for vulnerable adults in the community. And that's anyone over the age of 19 that needs like support in the community. It can be people that are at end of life care. And I got loads of like tools and understanding of accessibility and how important that is to me. And when I'd go to events, I realized that there was a massive gap with that, whether it be like all the events were like alcohol fueled, which I have no problem with, but sometimes it doesn't. My thing is about inclusivity rather than exclusivity with everything that I'm doing, and it just wasn't inclusive. It's really hard to do some events if it's always like centered around like alcohol. So I do have like a mixture of events, like dry events, ones that I know that are going to be like cocktails, whatever, and having events that would focus like purely around gaming stuff that's on like networking, giving people the tools to be able to be more independent so they know what to do, navigating the space, because I have no idea. I literally don't know what I'm doing half the time. I'm just like, let's see what happens. Let's stumble into this and something will make sense. So it was just more about like trying to create opportunity for that, and also just to have fun. Sometimes you just want to have fun with people that you've met in the space, and try to identify where those gaps were, because that's what I felt a bit like. Yeah, that's what it felt like a bit for me as well. I also think like going to events is so key for being able to access opportunity. So people not being able to go to these events and network with people is really problematic. In some ways, I feel like I'm a little bit privileged in the way that I've started creating the events. So then I get to network with people, and then I see the opportunities that I've had to be able to speak to someone about an idea that I've had. And I think if someone else isn't able to come to that event, does that mean that they've missed out on that? So it's about trying to make a crossover of doing those events, one, and two, being able to share the access to events for people that can't make it as well. I hope that makes sense. I just talk so much sometimes. Yeah, just be like, half sharp.
Honestly, it's fine. Like this is a nice space to just sort of natter about things, but
Yeah,
it's really,
I can do it.
it's really great to hear about all the different things that you've sort of dipped into, worked in, and how you've been able to sort of transfer different skills into different areas to make things a bit more accessible. And that's something that both Women in Esports and the wider British Esports team, we've got quite a big focus on making things accessible for anyone. So it's really, really nice to hear that you've been doing that sort of stuff. So taking a wider look then, what would you say has been the biggest highlight of your career so far?
Oh my God. I'm torn between like host. I don't know. I don't even know. I think maybe doing something for BAFTA Games was really surreal, because who thinks, like, even being in this space, even being able to game and do something for fun and it be your job, it sometimes feels surreal. I try to explain it to my friends who are like, oh my gosh, I've just been in Morrison's for like 2 hours trying to find, like, you know, uncut bacon for Arthur, and I'm like, I don't even understand what the words that you're saying. I'm out here like having fun in like Zelda, and I just feel like I'm living my dream job at the moment. So sometimes I just like have to take a step back and be excited that I get to do those things. And I think being at the BAFTA Games and being able to like present an award for It Takes Two was, one, surreal, and two, being able to share like what was one opportunity and be able to suggest an idea to them and spread that opportunity to like 12 different women was like my ideal thing. I don't think that we get far in anything with hoarding opportunities, especially when like for marginalized groups. So to actually see the result of something and for them to support the vision as well was amazing. I phrased a little bit, so I don't know if that was me. Yes. Okay, yeah, it might be my Discord. So I think maybe that, or like my event that I did in November, which was my Spaces event. Doing something with organizing something, being able to produce something that was like really well received, IRL and online, was, because I get imposter syndrome like everyone. So being able to see it and have like so much positivity, I think that's really good. So yeah.
Yeah, 100%. We were actually going to ask you about that event as well. So amazing, amazing event by the looks of it. I wasn't actually there, but I've seen it. A huge congratulations on that collaboration with Twitch. Can you tell us a little bit more about that event? Because we seen it and we were like, wow, that's incredible.
Yeah, so it's really weird. So I think sometimes, like, I'll always be frank. So I think because I run Black Twitch UK, a lot of people are like, oh, they have to be black to ask questions, or they have to do this and that. And my thing is that the way that you can support other creators is like in a multitude of ways. But I mean, I wanted to be able to share the information that I got with like everyone. And also it goes back to what I was saying about if people don't have access to events, whether it be financially, whether it would be physically, or just because like lockdown was hard, a lot of people find it hard to be able to go into spaces. Like, what's a way that we can share that information easily? And at first it was going to be like a Black History Month thing, but I think sometimes we focus on just doing one thing for 1 month and then we forget about it for the rest of the year. And I'm like, no, I'm Black all year round. So doing it for in November, and then being able to speak to other creators who have gone through similar things with the marginalized creators that I've been trying to support was really positive. And also, like I said, I talk a lot, so it was good to have other people share their experiences and to hear from other people and be able to amplify the things that they do and just be productive. I think networking and talking about stuff is quite easy, but then what's the solution? Okay, so you say that this isn't working, what's that? What's the solution? How do I host? How do I charge for this? Like, how do I get jobs? So like, we're trying to do things so that we can be as independent as possible and strive for those opportunities, rather than waiting for someone to hand it over, or putting our hand out and be like, oh, please, like, help us. We're trying to do what we can do, but just have, I guess, equal access to opportunity. So that was basically what I said in in a deck to Twitch. And also I would say like we drag Twitch all day long, but like they did so much to help like bring the vision to life, because it was also a learning experience for me. So them like showing what I would need to do like behind the scenes and the actual business side of it has helped me know what I need to do for this year. Like if you're trying to do something, you're never too early. Even if you want to do something in 2025, people don't have budget, so you'll just have to like kind of jump in. And also I'm definitely a person that's um like not afraid of a no. Sometimes it hurts, but I think like 65 no's and that one yes could like propel you to something. So if I've got an idea, I'll just pitch it, because I'd much rather like try than not try. Yeah.
And so, just to give a bit more context to sort of us as well, because I think both myself and Billie are quite intrigued, and for our wider audience, like, what was the process for creating the event? Like, going to Twitch, sorting
Oh
stuff
my
out with
God.
them, and was it hard? I'm guessing.
So do you mean like for the whole event, or when it came to Twitch in general?
Um, a bit of both. Just sort of like, how did the idea come about, and then how did you sort of start the process?
So I knew what I wanted to do, and when it came to all things like production wise, etc., I pretty much like managed that on my side. I like had a production team. I approached like other brands that I wanted to work with. I had my deck clear of what I wanted to do and what the message would be. And also what's key is that no matter how like well-being we are, like when you're working with a brand, they want to know like how does it work for them, what are they getting out of it. So then I also had to be like, hey, this is what would be beneficial for you, this is how you would be able to reach this. And then also like speaking to the people, I spent a lot of time like asking people what they wanted as well, what they wanted to hear from and what doesn't work. And also because I'm on the other side usually, so I know what doesn't work for me, so I try to like avoid that. And I wanted it to be a bit like you're going to your like friend's living room and you're like talking stuff with friends, and I'm glad that that kind of captured it, because that's what all of the feedback was kind of positive with that. Most of it was that they wanted it to last longer and they could absolutely stop, because we didn't finish cleaning that place until 4 a.m. But most of it was, when it came to that side, was me just having to learn and doing that with like one of my good friends, Croft. She's amazing and she does like loads of body painting, and but she's also really like good with graphic design, and I hate asking people for help, and she knows I hate asking for people for help. So she was like, sit down, this is what we're going to do, and she helped me do that. And one of my friends like Fozzie as well, so they helped me on that side. When it came to Twitch, I they did more of like one supporting with the gift bags and branding, and then backing it on like showcasing it on Twitch. And then I like was able to do production and all the other stuff. So it was just kind of clear what our responsibilities were, and that's what was a thing that I learned about, is making underlining what who's going to be responsible for what and who's going to do. Like I had to check, like find the venue, work out what I was going to do venue wise, look after all, like figure out how I was going to get money for things. It was a hustle, and it's let me know that I'm never getting married, because if this is what planning a wedding is, absolutely not. So yeah.
I love that you like called it as well, that it's as if your friends are all entering your living room. Like I love that whole
Yeah.
concept of the whole thing.
Yeah.
I know we kind of briefly touched on representation. I just wanted to ask, do you feel that the gaming and esports industry is currently diverse and inclusive enough at the moment, or what do you think?
Absolutely not. I think it's not for many ways, and I think that sometimes we get into a little like Twitter is not a real place, and you forget that sometimes, and that's a good and a bad thing. I think it's a good thing in the way that sometimes you get hear so many things. I'm like, so I get so emotional about everything. I can cry over like TikToks. I will like uh I I take things in, and I think it's really important, like, and especially when lockdown was over, getting outside and like not reading as much online really helped, because I used to think like, does everyone feel like this? Is this what like how people are? Like people are mean. And then I don't read the comments, obviously, like most of the time, but it's just quite intense. Seeing things and thinking, is that what everyone's like? And then you're like, when you go out and you're around other people, you're like, this is a pocket of stuff. So that's good in that way, but it's also bad in the way that when you have a really like diverse kind of group around you and you're doing things within this space, it's a bit of a culture shock when you go to events and you're like, oh, okay, it's not like what I'm seeing. I'm not seeing any women here, or I am here still hearing like things like, oh my god, you're a girl gamer, that's so hot. Like, you're like, yeah, do you play like championship sims? And you're all right, like, let's relax. So I think seeing the reality outside of it, it's not diverse at all. I think people think, well, why don't just more people play games? Why don't more girls play games? Why don't more black creators play games? I don't know any black creators. It's because you don't want to, one. And two, I don't want to go to spaces where I don't really feel comfortable with, or I don't feel safe in. And I don't think that everyone's bad. I don't think people well, some people do, but I don't think that people consciously are like, I'm going to make this space like as hostile as possible. I think that they're just so default that they just don't realize how unwelcoming it can be for people. So you can imagine, like, if you're going to go to a space and you want to like be in like a championship or something, or you want to like do whatever or enter something, and then you're seeing like everyone's going to attack you because you're playing Street Fighter, and if you lose then you're letting down all of women. Men don't get that. Like, if I suck at games, and I love sucking at games because I have so much fun with them, but there's girls on the team that are amazing. Like, they're so good, they're like pro level, and that's good. They don't have to. I'm not a representative for everyone. I can't speak for everyone all the time. Being able to have the space of being able to do that is key. And I think, like, if a guy was like playing a game and lost, no one would be like, oh, men suck at games, look at them, this is why we shouldn't have them in. If one of us did that, they'd be like, boo, get her off, tomato, tomato, throw her off, etc. So I think being able to be and explore spaces without having to feel like, here I am representing every single person, would be ideal. That's what I would like to see, where you can just have fun. And I'm not someone that thinks like, oh, people can't be toxic. 100% be toxic. Enjoy the game, talk messable that you want to, but there's a difference between that and being outright disgusting and making people feel unsafe. And I think that's what people don't get. They don't get like there's a middle thing. We game, like, we know what it's like to shout at a screen, not asking people to like caress it and be like, are you okay, baby girl? It's just more like, all right, just, you know, don't call me a slave. Maybe that would be great. Yeah.
So taking all of that then, and if you had a magic wand and could do anything to make the industry more inclusive, what would you do and why?
Oh my god, that's a good question. I think not even the magic wand. Okay, I'll get back to the magic wand bit, because I just feel like, give everyone all the money to be able to create what they want to, because people have such sick ideas. But I think what I say to like my friends that are like, all right, how do we support? Like, I don't feel like I'm in this space, and I'm happy that they're open with me. They're like, I don't feel like I occupy that space. So sometimes when you're talking about issues, I don't get it. So I'm just quiet. I get that. I think collaboration is key, and that's one of the things that I was talking about at the event. I think larger creators supporting like smaller creators and collaborating with stuff helps both parties. One, two, listening to people and doing it in a really like way that's productive and fun is also key. Three, understanding, like, see, like, I literally love how you've done this podcast, because we get to talk about things. I don't feel like I've like been dragged to like another like place where I'm like, hey, this is my strife as a woman in gaming, and then you're like, okay, bye. It's like, okay, the reality and the fun of like what you're doing, and also like, okay, these are real issues, also let's play games because that's what we do. And like, I know I'm gonna absolutely get decimated but also like, it's fun. I think being able to remember that when people pull creators in, I get pulled or discuss asked to discuss things on panels, and they're like serious topics, and you know they're key topics, and they're like, okay, great, thanks, had that, and then you've like relived that trauma, and then another creator will come on, and they don't have to do that. They can literally just play Overcooked. So I think it's about remembering that other people, like, we're not just pain and strife. We want to play games. We want to be able to have things and have fun things and be able to just, I don't know, not just be a focus for 1 month per year, whether that be myself as a woman or myself as a Black creator. I think that's really important. I think when things are just natural, integrated, and it feels organic, then you don't need to, it's not forced diversification, it's just equal access to a space. And I think more people being able to do that and having the information to do that so it feels natural is really important. I don't know if that answers the question. Yeah.
It does. 100%. It totally makes sense. Yeah. And so obviously based on everything that we've spoken about, there's going to be a bunch of different age range, genders, whoever watching this podcast. What's one piece of advice that you would give to someone that's looking to get into the esports or gaming space?
I think being really like true to you, and I know it sounds so cheesy, it does, but I think even if it's slow, I think maybe it's two parts. Even if it's slow and you see other people doing stuff and they get to somewhere where they can get to like faster, everyone's got like their own path. You literally don't know what people do, and you don't know like what kind of things that they've done in the background to get somewhere, and you can see things like people having opportunities and you might take that as you're not good enough. I don't believe that at all. I just think that it's important to focus on you, because if you're looking left and right, you don't really focus on your own journey, and then you get distracted and throw yourself off and feel like, oh, I can't do this and that. And being yourself is so important. You're showcasing yourself to people all the time, so trying to be something you're not, it eventually just comes out. It's too exhausting doing that. Just trusting in how you are is key. But I want to say that in a way that doesn't sound like the end of like Saved by the Bell, but I think I sound like in a non-cheesy way, but like not in a cheesy way.
So now we are going to swiftly move on to the very exciting part of the podcast, where we invite our guest to a 1v1 against one of the host. So we are now going to be doing the Showdown.
Maybe I should go with different tactic for this game, like go more stealth. Why can I hear your feet? Oh, that's mine. Listen, I can hear you. Listen,
too.
I want to talk about this. Oh, I'm doing something.
Oh, no! I was waiting for my the stun and realised it wasn't stun anymore.
Okay, I'm a rodent.
We are hamsters. Let's go.
I feel really bad that I can't add value to this with a cast or something.
Oh my god, what am I doing?
Oh boy.
That was
I was close.
spicy.
I was on 100 HP if I didn't press my shield ability. I hate Tracer.
Is that because all that TikTok do is think about her?
Oh, maybe.
Love this from you.
Oh my god.
Love this from you, Bryony.
This is also showing that I can't aim.
Oh, huge plays, Cassie. Absolutely huge.
Wait, I was so jumpy. Oh. That was good.
It took me a few seconds to decide if I wanted to recall and get some health back.
Is this not one of your mains, Bryony?
Oh, it is. If I lose,
Oh no! Wait, what? Where are you, bestie?
You're done.
You're done. Oh my god, you just blasted right out.
Oh my god, this is so spicy!
concentration on my face trying to make
I don't, you know what? I don't even want to know what I look like when it's happening.
Oh, Lucio as well. Just a tip, I'm going to help you here. Press left shift.
Okay.
You'll heal yourself.
Okay. Did I need to heal?
You will do it in a second.
He will. Get the heals.
Oh, she You went a lot further than I thought you were going to go.
That's a violation, Bryony.
That is
That is a
funny.
violation.
So who do you think's the best character?
Mercy. Or Diva.
Oh my god! This was a knockout. I'm struggling and fighting for my life. I'm sorry, her thighs are amazing.
She has thick thighs, yeah.
They are... Sorry. I'm also sure that she's a great character, but also her thighs are amazing. Okay. Can you tell me how you are absolutely kicking my butt like this, please? Is there a tactic that you've got?
Approximately 1,200 more hours than you do in this game. that might
So we're pretty... Okay, I don't have a weapon.
Right click. Press and hold right click does damage. I don't know why I'm helping. No, I'm too nice.
I mean, don't help me.
So if you press left shift, you'll fade. So you're invulnerable for a minute. Press E. The right click is a damage orb.
No, you don't need to help me. We're gonna do. We're gonna get through this.
You're healing her.
You're healing.
Oh no! Wait, I'm what? I couldn't.
I might just see if.
Oh my goodness, the only Moira I've ever actually seen try and heal someone. That's insane.
So, not all women are good at I will watch you.
Are you noticing a theme here as well? Like, Bryony has a skin for every single character.
Oh, I pressed E by accident.
What does that mean for us?
Oh,
Bryony.
Oh.
Why would you do that?
I'm sorry.
No, you're not.
Come on, Torbjorn. Right.
But also, don't give it to me. I accidentally just gave birth to something in the corner. I can hear your heavy ass feet.
Can you? Are you sure?
It might be my own feet. No.
I'm sorry.
Did you take off your clothes as well?
Yeah.
Billie, no!
This is too funny to watch.
Oh. Am I doing good?
Yeah.
Because it was an environmental.
You're lying! Wait, is it all finished?
Yeah.
Isn't my death that quick?
Oh.
Are we gonna...
I didn't even realize it was finished, and I was like, yeah, you're doing great, sweetie.
So, when you see this, we've got 1 point on the leaderboard.
So, you might have seen me pop up in last month's BEE show, but this time I'm on the show, so I can actually tell you here right now all about the Women in Esports updates. So, first of all, a huge congrats to some of our internal staff. Bryony, Jasmine and Alice have all been nominated at the MCV Women in Games 2023 awards. Bryony up for Journalism Impact, Jasmine up for Career Mentor, and Alice up for Educational Impact. So a huge congrats to them. They will be heading down to London in March. Some exciting plans coming up for International Women's Day. Can't reveal too much yet, but keep an eye out on the Women in Esports socials for that. I'd also like to give a huge congrats to Nigma Galaxy, who took the win and were crowned champs at ESL Impact Katowice 2023. So amazing to them. Whilst you're here, Cassie, would you like to share any upcoming events or any news on your side?
I do have a few things coming up. I've got some stuff coming up for International Women's Day that I will be announcing. I can't share it and I'm so mad because I think that you lot would love it. But we have to wait. So I've got something coming up for International Women's Day. I've got some fun things planned with Charlotte Tilbury and Nyx. And also more events, some good events coming this year. that I'm excited to discuss and share with you lot. So you can find it online.
Amazing. Cannot wait to see them.
Thank you.
So we are now going to move over to our sort of fan submitted questions. They're a bit random. They could be anything.
I'm scared. Okay.
We are now moving on to the Cooldown. We basically put out on our socials, just asking people to reach out, ask any questions that they have for you, or just some random questions in general. So, Billie, if you'd like to kick off with the first question.
Yes, so the first question that we've had from literally KX is, what advice would you give to new marginalised gender streamers getting into esports?
A good question. I think finding communities or like spaces of people that you feel safe with is really important, so that you can ask like advice similar to that, ask questions about how to navigate like certain spaces, and also just mainly looking at rates, decks, and about the space that you're in, especially if you want to be a brand, you are also a business. And I think like people kind of forget that. So looking at what you're putting out there, and to having an idea of what you want to do in the future, because that kind of helps shape like who you work with. And also not every sponsorship is a good sponsorship. So I think that's key as well.
So this one's come from our very own Saul, aka Spyron. So how do you decide on what games to stream? Is it down to just enjoyment, or do you have more thought that gets put into it?
So actually, that's changed quite a bit. Like I love playing some games, and I get so caught up in them that I don't necessarily want to stream them, especially if it's got like a really good story that I need to focus on, and I know that I'm going to read every part of the lore because I know that it's a little bit slower. And sometimes I can do it, but I think that gaming is such a stress relief for me that I like to keep a pocket of something for myself. So like things like Elder Scrolls Online or like WoW are things that I like to keep for myself, or even like Hearthstone. They're just games that I've played for ages, and they're like my unwind games. And so I can spend a disgustingly long amount of time on them. Games that I play with like my friends off stream as well are key. The rest of it are games that I just want to explore and have fun with my community with. I don't take on every sponsorship that comes my way just because it doesn't fit with my community, and it feels like a little bit dishonest. Like, no shade to them, but I'm just never going to be playing Raid Shadow Legends because that's not my game and that's not my community game. So sorry. So something like that, I'd say like no. But when it comes to sponsored games, I usually play a game that I know that I would like. I wouldn't just play a game just because I'm like, okay, oh, there's this amount of money in it. I mean, sometimes I would because we're going through a recession, but I'd be honest about it, and I'd also be like, okay, this isn't something that my community likes, so I don't think we'll play it again. But I like to try and give everything a try. I'm a variety gamer. Shooters, I like to have fun with other people, just because I notice that when I'm playing like FPS games, that's when I get more like toxic people in there because they feel like you need to be a pro at it. And I've dealt with trolls who like they thought I'd be fighting for my rights. I'm like, I'm terrible, and then they ended up just staying and be like, okay, it's all right in here. And I'm like, thanks, okay, good, but I'm still terrible. So yeah.
Oh, bless. That's kind of wholesome, but kind of not.
Yeah, and that's
Okay, so just think back to when you were first starting out, because Counterfeit Cast has asked,
Yeah.
what would you say to the people who are currently in the position that you were starting out?
Oh, but when you say like, so when I first started streaming.
Yeah, so just first
Yeah.
starting out in gaming and esports, like where were you? How was it?
Oh, do you not so weird? Is that sometimes I still feel like that? And I know that sounds like, oh no, how? No, really, because like I can spend today, I was doing a stream and I couldn't get my headphones to work. And I was like, okay, doing this is my partner anniversary, like this week. I think I've been partner for 3 years. 2 years, 3 years, I don't know. And I was like, okay, I don't know how to do this. I'm still not a pro streamer. I think probably having fun with it more. I don't know how to press on people about how much like viewership will stress you out, and to not pay as much mind to it as you think you should, because there's people that have more viewers than me and have like really active like chat, but don't necessarily engage with the community as much, so they won't necessarily have got the same opportunities. And there's people that have had more opportunities than me and have like less reach, and I think that works because it's just it just fits with them organically, and I really like that people are doing that more, like in the industry, that make those decisions, and I think that's kind of key. And also like remembering that how you treat people, no matter how well you're doing or how small or how big you are, like that has an impact on people talk. Being a shit person is not attractive, full stop. I think the same people that you see on your way up are the same people that you see on your way down. And I think that's the same for when they go up, and the same way, I think just being organic and remembering like people that come into your space are coming there because they want to be around you, and having healthy moderation for yourself is key. But treating people like crap just because you think that they don't have an impact on the community is really crappy. So yeah, don't do that.
So completely taking a completely different turn then.
Yeah.
What's your favourite song at the moment?
Good question. I'm scared that that's not someone from my community that's asked that, because I really like the song and I don't think it's suitable for it. So I don't know. I don't know if I can drop that in here. So I like Mark Riviere, who is this like short, wiry man who plays on like in a dressing gown in his bedroom. And nearly every song that he has hits me in my soul. And he has a song called Look at That Arse, and it's amazing. Beat the last bit out. That's my favorite song at the moment.
Amazing. Absolutely amazing. So I don't know if we're keeping that in or not. I'm
No.
just sat here grinning like that's amazing.
I mean, it's Hosier cherry wine thing.
Anyway, on to the next question, I think.
You can just black it out like this answer could not be provided.
What is the best film that you have ever seen?
Oh my god. That's hard, but also really good. Okay, so the film that I've probably watched the most, and I used to think it was like my favorite. I don't know, like, so I like old musicals, and there's this film called Calamity Jane, and it's got like Doris Day, and she was, I think, probably shaped part of my tomboy era. She was like a cowgirl, but everyone else was like these rough cowboys, and they didn't believe like she was the best shooter in like the world, and she just didn't care. She was just like this rough little hellion, and I probably watch that like even now since like twice a year. And I think it was done in like 1920 something, I don't know, could have made that up, but it's probably one of my favorite films ever. That or Old Boy. I think Old Boy is such a classic, and even though like what's going to happen, it's still such a well done like film that shaped a lot of like how people did combating and scenes. And like even with Marvel shows, you can see like how much impact they had with like corridor fighting. So it's between those two very different films, but yeah.
And the final question in this section for you: what is the best game you've ever played?
Oh my god, you lot are really putting it on me. The best game. Every time I play a game, I'm like, this is the best game I've ever played, and I love it so much. And then I'll play something else. Like, I want to say it was like Zelda Ocarina of Time, but I think it's because that was the first time I played a game with that was like that, and it changed my whole like way of seeing games and how much time I spent with them, etc. However, oh my god, no, I don't know. I don't know. I think that Detroit Become Human's also such a good game. I love that game. I always recommend it to people. Oh, I'm so torn. Okay, I'm gonna say one. Can I say a Zelda game and cheat and then cover all the Zelda games and be like Zelda, A Link to the Past?
Go for it.
Thank you.
Amazing. And now on to our final segment, This or That. So this episode, we've taken a bit more of a food theme. So Cassie, I ask you, sweet or savoury?
Oh, sweet.
Why?
Sweet, I think.
Bryony, you?
I mean, for anyone who's seen my Meet the Committee video, the first answer in that was that my favourite food ever is crisps. So it has to be
Do you
savoury.
know what?
So
I'm
I
I
can
think
eat
the
crisps
sorry.
forever.
savoury.
Yeah, I'm
I'm
team
really
savoury on
stressed
this
out
one
about
as
this.
well.
I'm stressed out about this because I don't like the sweet on the picture. However, in general, I like sweet. However, I have a thing of foam sweets. However, I'm looking at the savoury snacks and I'm like, that does look a little bit delicious. Now I'm going to stick to sweet. I am.
And you were on team savoury then, Billie.
Yes, I am. I'm also a big advocate for crisps. I could sit and snack on crisps all day long. I love like cashews, just like little nibbles that you can like just
no.
sit and have at your desk. Oh yes, even
What do
like
you have
Bombay
popcorn
mix.
wise? Oh,
Uh,
Bombay mix is
Popcorn.
lovely.
Yeah, see, when you bring popcorn into the mix, I would have sweet popcorn. So
Not
maybe that's a
salt.
little. No, I would
No,
have
I'd have
sweet
sweet.
popcorn.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Salty popcorn makes me feel strange. Like the thought of it, it's like something that's supposed to be sweet.
yes.
Salty.
What's
don't
funny
know.
is that I'd have salt. What are we going through? Okay.
We've got very differing opinions there. But to be fair, like, this is gonna sound really bad. I went to the shop over lunch and I was
Okay.
like, I want something sweet, but I also want crisp. So I ended up getting both. And it's like, I can happily eat crisp, but I can also happily eat sweet stuff if you've got to be like in the mood in the evening if you want to eat like chocolate.
Oh, I thought you were
or
going to say you mixed them all together.
Oh
because
no,
that really
definitely not.
stresses me
Yeah,
out,
I
no.
thought you were gonna like throw
Yeah.
something really random out there, like, yeah, I got chocolate sauce and bought crisps and dipped them in the chocolate
No!
sauce. I
ended up
thought
getting
you were
cream
going
eggs.
to. Okay, dipping them in the cream egg then. Like, I thought you were gonna throw something out crazy there.
But no, yeah.
Absolutely not. Yeah.
You have to be in a mood for different
Yes.
things. I think we can agree that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
we
100%.
agree.
Perfect. So
Mm.
thank you very much for your time today, Cassie. You've been a very lovely guest, and it's been
Thank
nice
you for
getting to
having
know
me.
you and share all of your amazing work with our audience. And a very
Yeah.
special thank you to my co-host Billie for this episode and our Little Women Esports Takeover. So there's a lot of things to look forward to for the B show. There's a lot of things to look forward to for women in esports stuff in general. So make sure to follow all of our social channels. They will be linked in the description. And yeah, hope you have a lovely day, and I'll see you guys very soon.
Thank you.
Thank you.